morning, and welcome back. Another early morning Sunday show. For those that have never watched, welcome. For those that have watched, well, you returned. What the hell? Nice of you to do that. Appreciate it. Okay, let's just first. The mouse. I still have a mouse. I put down 8 traps. Some were nice traps, some were bad traps. It didn't matter. I put them down. 8. I got 8 empty traps. I got a cat still. He's outside now, doing whatever, but the mouse is here. Everything was empty. I come back home, it's like, my wife goes, well, I didn't do laundry because of the mouse. I says, well, hon, he's not going to come out to help you. There's a lot of other room in that laundry room, so he's somewhere else. I said, let's not let this stop progress, okay? But the mouse is in the house. I love Puerto Rico. I had an enjoyable time there this week. Regretfully, it's all work, and you get a little extra time. At 6:30 in the morning, you can go out to the pool, relax. 70-some degrees, water's bath temperature. It's a good life. It is. Oh, all right. Hey, all right. In the background, Las Vegas from 2008. New Music Express said, this is Britain's new #1 band. I never heard anything ever else come from them. I can't remember quite why I bought this at the time. I read something in the magazine, great reviews, and I bought. I mean, you've seen my room of CDs, so I did buy a lot of stuff like that. But we'll listen to that. It's 2008. Some of that shimmery type pop, a little bit of a Coldplay type feel to it. It's not bad stuff. Haven't listened to this probably since 2008. So we're listening to it together. And you get to be on the plane all the time, you get to read. Well, actually, I watch movies, but in the morning I always get up to read, and I finished this book. It's called Vinyl Junkies. For those of you, this is by Brett Milano. Those of you obsessed with buying records, like record collecting, it's a good book. Did I learn anything? Am I a smarter person? Am I a wiser person? Probably not. But it's just a guy going around talking to a lot of record collectors. Many of them are musicians, like, I can't think of his name, lead singer from The Liars out of Boston, Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth. But he talks to a variety of different people about their collecting, what they're going on, and, just their search and their quest for certain types of music. Couple important things. This was made in 2003, so digital music was gaining ground at that time. The other thing, there wasn't many women collecting music. There is more now. But one of the big things I learned is if you're a guy and you're not married and you're trying to pick up chicks, don't tell them you collect records. It's just not going to happen for you. It's not as bad as going to a Star Trek convention, but getting similar to it. I think it's better now, though. More and more people do it. This is just one of these books that is for interest because of the love of vinyl, of collecting. It's good. Nice read. And a quick read, too. 200 pages. Zip, fast. Let's get into some neat music here. Oh, God. A box set. How about that? The Complete Cuban Jam Sessions. 5 albums. This came out, just came out in last year, I believe, 2018. This is music from Cuba from 1956 to 1964. And it kind of looks at the Afro-Cuban scene that was going on. Bunch of live recordings that happened from a variety of different artists. That's when the Afro-Cuban scene was really taking off. We have our book. And here we go. Content on here. So it looks at a progression of music, and it goes till 1964 because by 1964, well, as the song goes, and along comes Castro, woo, and communism took over the island and got rid of the music, yeah, yeah. Okay, so that doesn't go like that. But with Castro and communism, the casinos were closed down, and a lot of these musicians weren't able to do what they were doing, because a lot of this influence came from America. It came from the pop music in America that was happening at that time, and of course their music was coming over to, especially to New York, and inspiring a lot of people there. So what we have is the first two albums were kind of live albums recorded in 1956, and they're more big band oriented. And that book, by the way, is half in Spanish, half in English, so you get both of them. So these two albums were more big band. It's nice vinyl on here, nice thick, nice inner sleeve from Panart, High Fidelity, I don't know. The third album, this one goes more into the use of bebop jazz and what was happening with the bebop jazz, and as it infiltrated into the Cuban scene. And it took more of the street music and the country, the guitars from the country, and incorporated that more into the Afro-Cuban thing going on. And, you know, when you think Afro-Cuban, you know, there is a lot of, shall we say, you know, not only the big band sound of it, but there's the rumbas and the mambos and the cha-chas all going on. Again, there's influence by American music, but this also influenced America. Then we have, and these are different leaders. For instance, this is Nino Rivera. So an album is more dedicated just to Nino Rivera. Number 4, this one here is Chacheo. What was his name? Israel Chacheo Lopez. And this, the music is more radio friendly, shall we say. Maybe some smaller songs. As you can see, there's a lot more music on this. It's stuff that you might have heard on the radio. It's morphing now. It's changing a little bit again. What's really kind of wild on this, no, it's the other ones that has that. No, there's this one here. If you listen, there's between the congas and drums, and at times they just have these duels going on, and so it's just that great rhythm that I truly love with Afro-Cuban music. And the final one is from Fajardo, and this brings in the flute, and how Fajardo was a flute player, and he incorporates it into the music. And again, this is jazzy. It has a wonderful beat, but you have the flute and the violin become a major part of what's going on. So just great stuff that was going on in Cuba before it finally all ended due to Castro. And it kind of, you know, obviously changed that. It didn't kill the music. It still kind of went on. But other countries, you know, New York City took it and ran with it big time. You know, Tito Puente, you know, Puerto Rico, all kinds of places. So, nice big box set. It was hard for me to say no to that because I really enjoy that type of music. I like a beat. Boy, I wish I could do the cha-cha or the rumba. Yeah, the rumba would be fun. It's all fun. You know, when I become popular someday, and I have a 1 million subscribers, and Dancing with the Stars is going to call me, then I will be on there. Oh yeah, I will have a mirror trophy. A Grail. It's a repress. It's not an original. Someday I'd like to get an original, but I just couldn't wait. I've had it in CD. This is the debut album from Suicide. This came out in 1977. You know, Suicide. It's not for everybody. It came from a Ghostwriter comic. They had, I believe, on a band something. It was in the comic. It's Suicide. It's, shall we call it? Some would say disturbing music. It is. It can be harsh and very repetitive. You have this organ. This is dark organ going on, and in the background you have this electronic drone, and it just keeps pounding at you. And then the lead vocals, Alan Vega's lead vocals, he does a lot of yelps. It's almost like screaming in the night. If Bruce Springsteen used these, these inspired one of his songs. If you listen to Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska, and it's actually one of my favorite tracks on there, State Trooper, Nebraska State Trooper. You'll hear the music on that was inspired by Suicide. You'll hear him do this yelp. It's that yelp. It's that dark yelp that goes on. You know, these guys, they were very confrontational. Their shows could erupt in violence. It was Alan Vega and Martin Rev, and you know, they started in '72, and Vega, I believe, died. It was in 2016. You know, they were still playing off and on sporadically. For me, it's just I don't know what attracted me to it. It's not melodic stuff, you know. It is just, it's harsh. But it's that drone. I think that's what I like. There's just this constant drone that's going on, and it keeps going and going. It's almost repetitive, and it becomes extremely hypnotic. Nice little sleeve. Okay, so here's my bitch. Those words, my God. I mean, a CD, it's bigger print. They tried to put a lot of writing on you know, there's a lot of paper here, but they tried to put too much writing on it, and they made these words so microscopic. I got bifocals. It wasn't helping. I was happy to get this. These guys were one of the first to use the word punk even in their advertising. That was back in '72. They really were pioneers. When you think post-punk, you think electronics, you think industrial. They were the ones that really set the blueprint for it. They had primitive drum machines before there were primitive drum machines out there. And again, the use of electronics and just the drone. So happy to get this. Been playing the heck out of it. It did come on beautiful red vinyl. Great pickup for me.
Ghost rider, motorcycle hero. He's looking so cute. Sneaking round in a blue jumpsuit. Ghost rider, motorcycle hero. He's blazing away.
All right, now how about a little bit of blues? Picked up these two. I actually have them both on CD. You know, you got it on CD, I tell you, I need it on vinyl, but they were so inexpensive on Amazon. They're like $10, $12, and I really like R.L. Burnside. R.L. Burnside plays North Mississippi blues, and that's really different from the Delta blues. With North Mississippi blues, it's more about taking one chord. We're just on one chord, and you just keep playing that chord, and it becomes hypnotic. Even the churches around in that area, a lot of their music, they had this hypnotic feel to it, but they took that one chord. Now the syncopation of that chord may change as it goes, but for the most part it's serving almost as this backbeat. Now you can throw in some organ, you can throw in some drum. Things are really changed up by the vocalist, and that kind of keeps things going and change it. And R.L. Burnside is just a master at that. Junior Kimbrough is another one that came from North Mississippi. These guys never really made it big. He learned, started his blues in 1959, but nothing ever really happened to it. You know, I think Fred McDowell taught him the blues, and Alan Lomax recorded him. Burnside, he had juke joints up there. Juke joint basically where we sell a lot of moonshine. You come in, and this guy was just he could be crazy as a coot out there. There's times we probably talk about, hey, he's got his gun out there shooting away, just trying, hey, everyone, knock it off, you know, I'm gonna shoot you down. I like his blues a lot. I really enjoy it. On here, I'm going to play a track, and it is it's bad, you know, and it's from first time I heard it was on The Sopranos, and that's what got me interested in R.L. Burnside. I heard the song on The Sopranos. It's bad, you know. I go, wow, it was hypnotic. That's what caught my attention. I checked it out and go, it's R.L. Burnside, and thus I began to buy some of his CDs. I probably have 5, 6 of his CDs. So these are the first things I bought on vinyl because the prices were so good. This one came out in 1993, Too Bad, Jim. And then this one came out in 1998. I like this one better than this one because this one has its badge, you know. But there's some other stuff on here that I really did recognize. So really nice finds. I was happy to pick them up.
She asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why.
Okay, Bebop Jazz. See, we're everywhere this week. You know, I had kind of a funk thing. I had a punk thing. We're back to my normal. What the hell are you showing this time? Wayne Shorter. This is one of those Blue Note 75s. Very inexpensive on Amazon. Speak No Evil. And when you think of Wayne Shorter, especially in the 60s, he had two, in my opinion, classics. Excuse me, he had Juju and Speak No Evil. Boy, they both sound kind of mysterious, don't they? In fact, the very first song is called Witch Hunt, followed by Fee, Fi, Fo, Fum. Kind of tells you a little bit about it. You know, he cut his teeth in the 50s by really hanging with Coltrane and almost like being an apprentice to Coltrane. But, you know, he played with a variety of different guys. You know, Horace Silver, Art Blakey, Maynard Ferguson was one of the ones that gave him his first real big job. And in 64, he joined Miles Davis. And in 64, he'd been with Miles Davis a couple months. He recorded Speak No Evil. And who's on this? None other than Freddie Hubbard. We have Wayne Shorter on tenor sax, Herbie Hancock plays piano, Ron Carter on bass, and Elvin Jones. So you have a number of the guys from the second great Miles Davis quintet playing on this. It is a classic album. For those of you that are learning more about jazz, you will not go wrong with this. There's some very melodic stuff, but it's hard bop, but they have modal jazz going on in there, which is what Miles Davis was doing. Since Kind of Blue, he was doing more of a modal type jazz, and there is a little bit avant-garde. So, you know, because eventually, you know, Wayne Shorter, you know, had Weather Report. and he's starting to branch out. He's starting to feel himself and what he can do. There's songs like Wildflower I find really melodic. There's other times where I just really like, they'll hold a note and they'll have this long note, they'll hold it, but underneath you hear Herbie Hancock on the piano going. It's just really beautiful. This is a very, it's an upbeat album. It's not a slow-paced one. So, if you like a lot of ballads, this probably is not going to be for you. For me, it's one of those kind of jazz albums. Like I like my jazz to rock. I like my jazz to bop, and this had a lot of bop to it. And you can again find it fairly inexpensive. It's on that 75 Blue Note series on Amazon. Found this at my local record store. Don Patterson with Sonny Sit, and it's Donnie Brooke. This came out in 1969. So Don Patterson's an organist. Actually began as a pianist. He was playing piano and he was playing it in jazz. And then one day he heard Jimmy Smith. I believe it was 1956. He heard Jimmy Smith play the organ. He stopped playing piano, began to play organ. He thought, this is where it's at. He was born in 36 and passed in 88. Drug problems, like so many of the other ones. It happens. It was rampant. And it affected so many great jazz players. It's on the Prestige label. Again, and this came out, I think this was 69. What makes this interesting is there's this guitarist. So you have Sonny Sit on tenor sax, Billy James on drums, and a guitarist named Blues Grant. Wow, Blues Grant, who's that? It's Grant Green. Grant Green was under a record contract, so he changed his name so he could play here with Don Patterson. This album, it's probably not his greatest. To me, it's a little uneven. There is some very good songs. Donnie Brooke itself, which is kind of about a Donnie Brooke. The participants would have like knockdown, drag out fights. I guess it's slang. It's a really good song. It really bops. But then the very last song is Starry Night. And to me, it just sounds like a 60s soap opera organ going on as the world turns. It reminded me of going to my grandma's and listening to that organ and that. I mean, God, it was just so syrupy. And I absolutely hated the song. I really did. The other ones, he does St. Thomas, which is the big Sonny Rollins classic. So, there's he's done some his compositions and then those from others. But some of the organ was really good. I really liked it. It was really jazzy. And I'm going to play you a little bit from, I believe I got Donnie Brooke on here. You can hear what that sounds like. Wayne Shorter's totally blocked on YouTube. Can't play anything. A couple other albums to show these two together. Aretha Franklin and Aretha Franklin. This is Aretha Franklin off Columbia, and it's called Yay or Yeah. And then we have Lady Soul. I've had this one on CD. I just saw it. It was that beautiful copy. It's a repress here, so it's not a new one, which is why it really looks good. It's from the 70s, but looks super nice and super clean, no pops, nothing. This, of course, had all the classics on here. It was their third album for Atlantic, so it had Chain of Fools, People Get Ready, Natural Woman. That was done by Jerry Goffin and Carole King. A lot of great stuff. She has a couple compositions, but then she interpreted others and made them their own, like Otis Redding's. This was really interesting though, and he had this, and this was from Columbia, and I believe this came out, oh, gosh darn, I want to say 64. I can't, I'm trying to remember, but it's kind of escaping me. Columbia 2i. Columbia didn't know what to do with Aretha Franklin. They were struggling with her, and they were trying to make her, you know, Atlantic said she is R&B. Columbia was trying to make her more pop standards. This sounds like a jazz torch singer, and I'm going to play, it could be the start of something. And it's just this real jazz going on. And she's doing Ella Fitzgerald. And that's what they, you know, Columbia, that's what they knew. They knew stuff like Ella Fitzgerald and that kind of music, and the soul wasn't part of it. That's what was from Atlantic. So that's what made these two albums interesting. Two record companies doing two different things with her. This one was successful, this was not. This is a great album though. I really enjoy this. There's some wonderful stuff on this. You can't find her Columbia stuff very often on CDs or anything. So this was an absolutely incredibly interesting find to listen to Aretha Franklin before she became Lady Soul. So I'm going to play this track and I hope you like it. Just neat stuff.
Or you're at a party, or else you're alone, and then you suddenly dig. You're looking into someone's eyes and suddenly realize this could be the start of something big. You're lunching at 21s and watching your diet, trying to Charlotte Russe, accepting a fee. When all of the clear blue sky suddenly it's yelling guy, and this could be the start of something big. There's no controlling the unrolling of your faith, my friend. Written in the magic book. But when a lover you discover.
How about a little Max Richter? I've been showing a lot of his because I like him. This is from 2010. I have put in your comments. First one to put in the comments that wants the download card. You have a download card. There it is. I will send that to you. 2010. This is called Infra, and it is Infra and Journey, and that's all he names them, Infra and Journey. This is like night music. It is soft piano chord that goes on. Again, it's that static, and then you hear a violin chord progression. And these chord progressions, they do it slowly, note by note by note. Part of the neoclassical, you could call it electroacoustic chamber music. Some might call it ambient. This is one of his more popular ones. I mean, I really like what Max Richter's done. This is on Deutsche Grammophon. Not much of a label there. It's uncomplicated music, but it is achingly good. I mean, it's just so relaxing, so peaceful. It's just times you just want to have something you can just sit back and enjoy. And I listen to this, and it's like a quiet, peaceful night. It's so soft, and it's absolutely a gorgeous piece of work there. You know, if you're tired of loud guitars and that, listen to this. The static is back. He likes the use of static within his electronics, but it gives silence a sound. So instead of just silence, suddenly has a little sound to it. Beautiful stuff. Final. This I'm never showing, so here we go. I'm going over late, but I've never shown this before, and I wanted to. This is a first. This is the first on my channel. It's polka. Yes, I bought polka. I did it in my 2019. That thing we did at the beginning of the year. I says I'm going to get polka. Look at that. This is Ernie Kuchera, #1, Nebraska's #1 polka band. That's why it was in my record store. Man, I got it for a steal. Can you believe that? And I saw that and go, Nebraska, #1, Ernie Kuchera. I know Ernie Kuchera. This guy went around. I don't know him personally, but his band was big. I graduated and from a very Czechoslovakian community. They loved Ernie Kuchera. So I have those, but this was really cool. It is the Czechlanders Orchestras presents Easy Listening, and they present Polkas and Waltzes. Okay, again, okay, there's the Nebraska State Courthouse. This is what's cool. Bob Melachek. Yes, Bob Melachek. I worked with him in high school in the grocery store. He wasn't in high school, you know. He was making a career working at the IGA grocery store. And, you know, Bob's just the nicest, sweetest guy. And just go, Bob, you're never going to go anywhere in life, are you? And, you know, I just like kind of what I do. He had this high voice and just little guy. By God, Bob played the drums for the Czechlanders. I know he liked polka music. This came out in the 80s. I graduated in 77, but he became in a big polka band. And so they have all these people, and they're all from where I graduated. I can't say I didn't spend a lot of my life there. I actually hated Schuyler, Nebraska. I hate this town so bad. I moved the second half of my junior year. But you have the Skarka family plays on here, the Molachek Sobatas. I mean, we're talking pure Czech names on here, and Bob Melachek. Yeah, if a kid wanted to make money, you had a polka band. The guy that had the nicest car in our high school was Swoboda, and he drove a Monte Carlo. Why? He owned a polka band. So I couldn't believe it. Bob Melachek, there he is. He made it. Polka. I have polka in my collection. Boom. What's left? I don't know. I think I have it all now, folks. Are those great elves? No, they suck. Absolutely. I don't like it. But they're from Nebraska. Bob Melachek. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. Remember, I love Puerto Rico. Appreciate you watching. Sorry for the length here, but oh well. What can you do? Hey, everyone have a good week. I have another week. I'm going to find the damn mouse. I'm going to find the damn mouse. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.